This talk is supported by Small PDF, the successful Swiss scale-up making PDF easy for over 1 billion people around the world since 2013. You may remember them from a previous podcast we hosted with their CEO, Dennis Just. Their mission is to make PDFs and life easy for people across the world, a mission made possible with their 90+ amazing employees across Zurich, Belgrade and Barcelona. If you want to join this fast-growing Swiss scale-up, visit smallpdf.com/Swisspreneur and apply.
When I was in consulting, people slept 3-4 hours a night. Some people were really bragging, hey, another all-nighter worked through.
Welcome to the Swisspreneur Show, a podcast about startup stories and learnings from experienced entrepreneurs. Here's your host, Sylvan.
Andreas, a warm welcome to the Swisspreneur Show. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you, Sylvan. It's great to be here.
You're the co-founder and chairman at Dagsmejan, a company that develops innovative clothing for better sleep. Before we talk about the company, what you actually do, I want to learn more about your personal background. You actually studied finance and also completed your MBA in the UK. Are MBAs overrated or are they actually beneficial for your startup journey?
I think an MBA is, generally education is a good thing to be a startup entrepreneur or an entrepreneur or start in a corporate career anyways. And an MBA is a great way how to advance your career, advance your skills. So I learned a lot of things about commercial terms, commercial situations. For me, it was great to do an MBA in an Anglo-Saxon world because Anglo-Saxon is very different. How they look at business, how they train people, how they provide insights. It's all case-based. So I really learned a lot with my MBA. So I cannot say this is overrated. I think MBA is a great start for any kind of entrepreneur.
Do you think it's a mandatory step to take for all the entrepreneurs?
Absolutely not. In the end, a successful startup is a combination of multiple skills. And normally what you see, what really works is a startup where you have some technical founders, people that are really, it depends what you do, but have a natural science background, have deep IT background, and have some commercial people on the ground. Sometimes these skills can be found in one person, but it's very rare. So it's normally a good thing to have some commercial people combined with technical people. This is really the good source for a good startup.
I fully agree. You then actually also went on to work for corporates, namely UBS, ABB, Strategy, and what actually motivated you to go into the corporate world instead of starting your own company right after your studies?
I started actually with founding a consulting company during my studies. And so for me, this was then a bit a natural way to do it right and do it real. Because what I realized during my studies when I had this student consulting company was that we had a lot of opinions, but not really the experience. And so I really wanted to learn it right and learn the profession of being a consultant. And then I started, and consulting is a strange animal. You're there, every year is up or out, and then you say, okay, let's do another year, and then suddenly I was 20 years in consulting. And that was never my plan. I had a great time. It's a great way to start a career. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Would I stay again for 20 years? Probably not.
So it was really the next career step that kept you going and also kept you in the corporate world.
Absolutely. I mean, consulting is a nice field. You work on very interesting topics. You work with smart people. I had a chance to work in about 30 different countries. I worked in Brazil, Saudi Arabia, India, Pakistan, just to name a few. And so this was a super nice experience to go around and work on super nice and exciting topics.
And at the same time, you, of course, when you actually step up the career ladder, you also make more money. So I could imagine then to switch from the corporate world where you had a very good position, you had a great career, to then switch to the entrepreneur, to the startup world. That must have been quite a shift for you. So what motivated you to take that step?
Absolutely. I mean, this was a big step, but also an overdue step. I always wanted to be founding my own business. I mean, I started with my own business when I was 6 years old, painting stones and going around to my neighbors and try to sell them off. Never really materialized, but I had something in me that always wanted to build something and build a business. And so I always had this in me. Also during my studies, I founded my first company. Then later on, when I did my MBA, I really wanted to found my own company. But then I went back to consulting. But I always had this idea in me that I want to do something on my own. And for me, then the trigger was, I started my career with Coopers & Lybrand. And then the company, it merged with PW to become PricewaterhouseCoopers. Then the consulting arm was sold to IBM. Then I moved on to a company called Booz Allen Hamilton, which then split into Booz & Company. And then ultimately Booz & Company was sold again to PwC. So this was a full circle. I was back where I was 20 years earlier. And this was then the reason for me to rethink my career, my life, and say, okay, now is really the moment to do it.
But wasn't that difficult to also let go of that, nice salary and the security and safety that you built up over the years?
Absolutely. It was a major step to get out. But as I said, it was overdue, and at the time I had the right partner to start this venture, and so it felt like a natural next step as well.
And you also mentioned that you already started, selling things when you were 6 years old. Where does that entrepreneurial drive come from? Do you have any role models in the family that sort of shaped your understanding of entrepreneurship?
A little bit. My dad was an entrepreneur, but more so than being an entrepreneur, he always showed me you can basically do whatever you think is right. Just make it right and make it real. And you are ultimately the master of your own destinies. This is what I learned from my dad. And so becoming an entrepreneur was a bit the theme I got from him. We had some entrepreneurs in the family before, but not really. So for me, it was really, starting a textile business like what we did was really the first step in the wider family.
Great. So you actually started your own company in 2017, Dagsmejan, together with your co-founder Katarina. First of all, you make innovative sleepwear. How the hell on earth did you end up in the sleepwear industry?
Well, this is a question I asked myself many, many times, and lots of my friends asked this question very openly or closely behind the doors when I had this idea. But it was really the idea to become an entrepreneur, and for me, the starting point was to have the right partner to start with. So together with my partner Katarina, we decided we wanna leave our corporate careers, and the second half of our professional life, we want to do something on our own. And with that, we took a very analytical approach. So we thought about what are the mega trends for the next 20 years. So then we ended with the topic of self-care, self-optimization, personal health, which is in our view one of the key trends that is here and only starts to grow. Then we thought about what are relevant capabilities we have. Neither of us worked in textile before, but I worked a lot in multiple industries, in multiple topics as a strategy consultant. My partner, she was in marketing for a health company. So we had some relevant capabilities, and then we thought this is a great topic to start, because we really saw within the self-care movement, sleep is a topic that is rediscovered. We do a lot of sports, so we invest a lot of money into functional sportswear, which you then use only a couple of hours every year. It matters. Function is something nice, but function really matters for what you spend 1/3 of your life in, and this is sleep. And why should you not expect this function from the sportswear in sleepwear as well? And for us, this was really the point of discovery. That hey, this is an opportunity. Then we started to develop our business plan, and from there we founded the company.
You said it's a very analytical approach that you took. How do you have to imagine this? Did you then really, go out there and analyze the different market segments, etc., or how did you actually validate the idea that you had there?
Absolutely. We had a couple of ideas for which we developed the business case. And then we went around, we had some discussions with friends, with people that know the industry and know the industry better. And this really helped us to shape our plan and to really develop the confidence that this is something that has some legs.
And then in your plan, you also have this physical product, the Pajamas, basically. So how do you then develop the first prototypes? Because behind your technology, there's also a patented technology. Please tell us a bit more about that.
Absolutely. I mean, for us, as I said, none of us comes from fashion or textile. So we were very clear that this is a capability we need to bring on board. And so one of the next steps in our entrepreneurial journey was to find some research and development partners. And so we went to see the EMPA. EMPA is a Swiss Federal Institute for Material Science and Technology, and just shared our ideas and what we thought about bringing function to the sleepwear. And they got excited about the case and said, hey, we have some relevant capabilities. Capabilities in textile are concentrated in St. Gallen. So this is the old stronghold of the Swiss textile industry. And so we went there. We found some more people that thought this is a great idea. And they said, okay, why don't you do a federally funded KTI project? So we said, okay, it's a great idea. And this then really allowed us to do some basic research. This allowed us to really develop some fabrics, some knitting structures, knitting technology from scratch. And this was really the starting point then for our business.
Wow, that's I think a really great story about how innovation can be put into the market in the end.
Absolutely. I mean, again, this goes to MBA or not. I mean, obviously I had no idea about textiles, but I had a lot of understanding about, how to set up a corporate, how to drive innovation, how to set up a company, how to develop distribution strategies, and how to bring this to market. But we needed to have the product, and for that we really partnered with EMPA. Then we also partnered with Hochschule Lucerne for art and design, also with the University of Stockholm for sleep research. So we really wanted to bring something new, something very innovative to the market. So best from sleep, best from material science, best from textile ergonomics. So this was what we tried to combine here.
If you tell that story, it sounds very easy, but combining all these different aspects and also the different parties, especially with research, etc., that can be also a very challenging thing to do. How do you manage that?
Absolutely. I mean, for us, the good thing is, and this is an advantage of when you start a company when you're a bit older, you have managed some complex projects. And this was obviously helpful with the business we set up, because it's hugely complex to set up basically a global supply chain. We had, we do everything from scratch. So we source from the fiber over the yarn to the spinning, to the finishing, to the dyeing, to the final garment making. Everything is custom made by us. And as we have 5 different product lines, we have 5 different supply chains. So it's quite complex to manage. So this helps to have worked with that before.
Certainly. And then you had the first prototype that came out of that research group, so to speak. What happened afterwards? Because then you still had to put that prototype through testing and then to a potential mass production. So how did you get there?
The concept we developed relatively quickly. So we understood sleep, why do we sleep, how could we support our sleep needs through innovative functional fabrics. So we had the concept relatively fast, but then the problem started, because the main problem we had was that we defined for ourselves that we want to do this with natural fibers. And while functionality through synthetic fibers, what you know from most sports garments, is relatively straightforward, doing this with natural fibers is very complex, because natural fibers, they are inhomogeneous, they behave very, very, very strangely. Just to give you an example, we use merino wool from Uruguay. The merino wool is different depending on the weather that there was in Uruguay. Was there more rain? The sheep have eaten more grass or more wet grass than dry grass. So this changes the property of a garment in the end. And then to really get to a homogeneous concept with fine natural fibers, this was the big challenge for us. So it took us probably a year and a half to really have a product that was stable, that was robust enough to bring to the market. Because with textiles, it's not just having the function, but it's also the expectation from the customers. A product needs to be robust enough. It needs to be washable. It should be durable. It should last for at least 2 years, or be better 3 to 4 years. But still, you want to have the comfort of what we have with our functionality, and really find the right balance, make all the trade-off decisions right. This was a huge challenge for us.
Wow, that's crazy if you think about that journey. You managed all of that together with your co-founder, Katharina, who's also your romantic partner in life. So people wonder, is that a setup that you would recommend to others?
I think it's if it works out, it's a great thing to have. Obviously, there are lots of challenges anyways by starting your entrepreneurial journey, and doing this with your life partner is obviously doubling this up. But for us, it has worked extremely well. I mean, we complementary now in our skills. We're also complementary in our work style. However, we have good strategic alignment on our vision, on what we want to do, what we want to get out of this business. So this was super helpful. But anyways, I mean, finding the right founding partner is a challenge, and I mean, why not look further than your med partner? It's a great thing if it works out.
And how do you make it work then in your daily lives? Do you really have your dedicated areas of responsibility, or what would you recommend there as a setup to make it work, but to also have a good distance between the professional and the personal life, if that's even possible?
Well, first is to have some physical distance. I mean, when we started at our home, but we have a two floor apartment. So I was upstairs, she was downstairs. So this helped us to get some physical distance, which is also helpful, because I mean, particularly in the first 1.5 years, I mean, before home office became home office, we had home office very, very, very intensely. Mm-hmm. But we had always a good split between the roles. I mean, Katharina, she's coming from branding and marketing, so this was mainly her role. I come from more the operations side, supply chain management was my side. I mean, as a partner in a strategy consultant, you are a salesman anyway. So I did all the selling, I did all the finance, I did all the investors relation, I do all the operations functions. This is my role. So I would say Katharina is doing all the fun stuff. I do all the back office stuff. But she challenges that.
I'm sure about that. Do you also have any rules in place where you say, hey, when you have dinner, for example, you don't talk about business to keep a healthy balance, or is that not even necessary? We try
that. It's not easy, but we really try to separate this out. So and obviously we make some weekends where we say, okay, now we go away. We don't talk business at all. Not always easy to maintain, but we try that pretty strongly.
So the efforts are there, but reality sometimes catches up.
Yeah, I mean, starting a business is a 7 times 24 job. The good thing is your partner is not challenging you when you work overtime and long hours, but still you need to have some delineations.
Absolutely. Now, let's also talk about the market that you're active in. So the science of sleep is really a big thing these days. There are books that are very popular about that topic. And why should actually people care more about their sleep clothing in the first place, instead of just, focusing on the amount of sleep that they get, or a good mattress in their bed? Why is the sleep clothing really an important focus area?
I think first is to understand why sleep is so important, and it took really a long time for people to discover that. I mean, it goes back to when I was in consulting. People slept 3-4 hours a night. Some people were really bragging, hey, another all-nighter worked through. And it's a great thing, and with statements like, wow, you can sleep when you're dead, stuff like that. It was popular thinking in the business elite. Sleeping was not regarded highly. However, you really see how now there is a paradigm shift. I mean, it comes a bit from the sports sector. A lot of athletes that are kind of in the winter of their career, Roger Federer, Ronaldo, Tom Brady, 44, and now they're retired. But I mean, these were still top athletes, and they really took a very strategic approach to their sleep. And this really has helped them to have a very long career, and so sleep is very important. Now, how to get better sleep? I mean, there are many things, and some are very, very basic. Lights out helps because light on is inhibiting sleep. Noise is not a great thing. It disturbs your sleep. And then you start working on the system. And the foundation is have a comfortable mattress, but then also have a good thermal regulation, because again, you need to understand how our body is steering this circadian rhythm, this sleep-wake cycle. And one is very much the melatonin, which is driven by the eternal shift of day and night, and the other is temperature. So our body needs to lower the body temperature to signal our body it's now time to sleep. Then the temperature drops further till around 4 o'clock in the morning. It starts to increase again. Then you have multiple shifts during the night, and if these cycles are not supported, you have a bad sleep quality. And sometimes you're not even realizing that, because you still think, oh, I slept 8 hours. But when you look at your aura, it shows your deep sleep very, very low, a very low heart rate variability, and these are clear signs that your sleep quality is not as good as it should have been.
Right. And there, I then guess your products help you.
Absolutely. And again, there are multiple products that come together. I mean, it's a duvet, it's a mattress, it's a room temperature, but the pajama, the first layer that is on your skin, is a super important element.
I wonder, so now if you see that shift in the market, right? So it's really a big trend and becoming an even more important trend. So that certainly helps you, with the timing, and that's a great way or a great point to start your business. At the same time, I also wonder, do you still have quite some education to do in the market or with potential clients to sort of convince them that your clothing is actually as important as your mattress or any other parts of what you just mentioned?
The good thing is the products actually work. So we developed, as I said, 1.5 years till we had a product. We were convinced it's going to deliver great value in bed, and then when customers actually report this back, this was for us super confirming. So the products are compelling. People that are buying the products are doing our best sales pitches. So from that it was an easy sale actually to scale up.
Fantastic. And also if you look at the sleepwear market, I mean, there are different numbers that you can find online. We looked at the market size in 2019, it was estimated to be worth $10 billion. At the same time, when we did the prep call together, you said, well, sleepwear market, that's just one way of looking at it. Actually, you're active in a way bigger market. So how do you perceive the market that you're in, or that you're active in, basically?
Yeah. I mean, many people are asking us, there's so many sleepwear brands around. In most markets, it's kind of an oligopoly. In Switzerland, you have Kalida and May. In Germany, you have May and Kalida. In other markets, you have one or two brands. So it's all there. Why bother with a new brand? Mm-hmm. But we have a very different approach. We are not a textile company. We're not a fashion company. We are a sleep company. So we really understand sleep. We develop products that help to sleep better. We can test this, and this is really what is the market we are in. And this is also how we develop our product portfolio. I mean, we have a lot of ideas we can develop around the topic of sleep, better sleep. Obviously the next developments are now the other textiles, bed sheets, bed linens. We have some fragrances we work on. We have some supplements we work on. There's a lot of products we can add to our sleep value proposition. And
then if you look at that, then it's not really the sleepwear market in it. Like it's much more about the self-care market.
Absolutely,
way bigger market that you're active in.
It's sleepwear. It's self-care. It's sleep tech if you want. even sleep medication, you can say, is our market, because this is our main competitor. I mean, people that take sleep medication or have taken sleep medication for years, if you can, maybe not at source, but at least you can work through the symptoms, help people to find better sleep in a natural way without using sleep medication. It's a great value.
Yeah. Could you also imagine then going into more physical products, like creating your own mattress or creating a software, an app to help you sleep better in that regard?
I mean, a couple of products we have in our portfolio at the moment, where we have some developments going. I mean, yes, mattress is definitely the topic we're looking into. Software, sensors is an interesting topic as well. However, you also need to be clear that you cannot do everything, or not everything at once.
Right.
And for a startup, it's also super important to set priorities and also decide what you're not going to do or not going to do now.
Yeah. And before, you also mentioned that the textile industry per se is a very competitive market, a very competitive landscape to be active in. So how do you actually differentiate from already existing products out there?
I think it's really our understanding of sleep, and have products that help our body to sleep better. So yes, we use textiles, but textiles are mostly a mean to an end. This is not the end for us, and I think this is really what differentiates us. Also important is that we test everything. So every claim we make, everything you read on our website is actually proven. There's evidence, there's science behind, and again, this is very different to fashion or textile brands.
And an additional important trend that we see uprising is basically the importance of sustainability, but also circular economy. What role does that play for you to also differentiate from other competitors, but also just to serve the market the right way?
Yeah. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we decided to go with natural fibers right from the beginning, because it's just a very different jump-off point. I mean, when you are with synthetic fibers, it's all oil-based. Yes, you can say it's recycled or regenerated, but the origin is still oil. And we said we want to do natural fibers. It's an important one. We want to use natural fibers that can be sustainably produced. So again, this was a decision then against cotton, which has a very poor CO2 footprint. Normally it's not produced where you need it. There's a lot of irrigation needed. There's a lot of water needed for cotton. And so this is why we then decided to go with botanic fibers, which are grown in Europe. So this was a first very important decision for us. And then we optimize everything constantly with sustainability in mind. There are a couple of things you cannot do yet because the technologies are not there yet. But it's every small puzzle piece counts. So this year we now use some new packaging material. We lower the transportation footprint of our product. So there are a lot of things we can do, but this is a journey.
Right. What's one thing that you wish was already possible today in that regard?
You're not getting with products that provides a lot of comfort. You still need some elastics in, and we say, and elastics are so far just polyamide. So these are synthetic fibers. We always make sure this is not more than 5-6%, but you need this to have the retractability of the products. And this is still something we would like to eliminate, to really have a product that's 100% natural fibers. And this is something we work on. There are now some solutions coming to the market. We are on the forefront. We're experimenting with that and find some technical solutions, hopefully in the next 18 months.
Fantastic. At the same time, another big challenge can be how to acquire new clients. So I wonder, how do you solve that with your company? Obviously, you sell direct to the consumer through your own online shop. How do you actually get new clients? How do you acquire them? Do you do a lot of performance marketing, or do you use resellers and partners? What's your take there?
I mean, this is, again, the nice thing of starting a business now. I mean, you have so great opportunities to start a business digital first, and this is a decision we took right from the beginning. We said we want to go global, and we want to go digital right from the beginning. And even today, I mean, we have now some wholesale partners, but not more than 90% of the business comes through direct channels. And there, obviously, the whole performance marketing plays a big role. But we're also great in SEO. We have a lot of repeat customers. We have a lot of loyalists, people that recommend the products to their friends, to their family, buying 20, 30 sets in 1 year. It's amazing, huh? And this is obviously the beauty of the direct channels.
And in that regard, I wonder, you probably also faced the decision to decide what do you do yourself and what do you outsource or let other partners do. I could imagine, especially on the whole logistics part, but also on the performance marketing and marketing part in general, you have to make decisions in that regard. So what do you actually do yourself, and where do you say, hey, it's better to outsource that and to let someone else run the show there?
Yeah. Ultimately, we have two capabilities which are core to our business. One is product innovation or fabric innovation, and the other one is digital marketing. So these are the core functions. We say we need to build them ourselves. We need to do it ourselves, and we need to be better than anybody else in these functions. While the rest is outsourceable, and we continuously do that. We have relatively early on outsourced the logistics and the warehousing. We have outsourced the finance. We have outsourced at least partially the customer service functions. This is what we have done very early on. We tried and experimented a bit with agencies on the performance marketing side. Some are good, some good experiences, some not so good experiences, and we constantly evaluate what are we doing in-house, what not, and there's never a final decision on that.
And from the outside perspective, it seems like you can actually, build a very big business with a very lean and small team. So in that regard, you build a leverage with technology innovation, but also then with the performance marketing leverage to acquire clients, while everything else is just scaling up as you go, basically. Is that a right assessment?
Definitely. And again, this is so nice. What you can do today, you could not have done 5 or 10 years ago. I mean, our first web shop we built on a Shopify platform. The first customization cost us $2,000, and we were live, and we had a global distribution model where we could fulfill orders to customers wherever they came from. I mean, things like that 5 years ago, it would have cost you 10 million if it would have been even possible. And now you can do this as a small company. And as I said, we decided very early on to go global. And really acquire customers wherever they are. I mean, we focus on 5 core markets, but I mean, Germany, US, UK, Canada, were strategic markets for us early on, and you can do that.
And how do you exactly do that from the logistical part? I mean, you still have a physical product to ship, and from Switzerland, it's not always that easy because of customs and everything. So how do you exactly solve that? Because going international can be a challenge if you have a physical product. Yeah,
we have decided to have 2 warehouses right from the beginning. One is in Switzerland for the Swiss market, and one is in Austria actually for the global markets. So everything with the exception of Switzerland. Obviously, Switzerland being part of the EU is complex and cumbersome, but as an e-com business, you need to make sure that your customer experience is seamless. And I mean, everybody knows that from personal experience. You buy a nice product, it's delivered, you're happy, and then 2 days later you get a custom invoice for 30 francs handling fee, 5 francs VAT, and it's not nice. And then you make a purchase once, but not a second time. And so for us as a business, we need to be seamless. We need to be top in the customer experience, and this is why I have this rather complex warehousing setup.
Do you have any other services or distribution channels, whatever you work on, that you put in other markets that you don't have, sort of here in Switzerland?
I mean, customer service is now a completely global model. I mean, customer service team is now built of a team in Switzerland, a team in the Netherlands, a team in Bulgaria, and a team in Pakistan. So to one really have some lower costs for standardized services, but also cover 7 times 24.
Fantastic. And then let's take the US market as an example, because that's probably the biggest one that you're active in. How do you then go about, marketing and everything there? Do you just run the ads here from Switzerland together with your partners, or do you also have any local presence in the US to take care of the local market?
No, we do it all from Switzerland, but But basically, whenever we go in the market, we have three strategic thrusts. One is PR, and we're really focusing on earned PR. So really go out and get some coverage on the technology, on the innovation, on sleep. And there are lots of stories we can play, and we get a lot of coverage. I mean, we were in basically all the media I can think of. We were in Forbes, we were in Bloomberg, we were on TV stations. So we really had a great coverage in the US. The second thrust is partnerships. So we want to have in every market some trusted stores on the ground, just to offer customers the opportunity to touch the product physically. But then the third thrust is obviously digital marketing, where we can scale up through nice campaigns.
Well, I like that model a lot. So let's dive in a bit deeper. The first part, PR, how did you generate that? Did you work with any agencies, or how can you actually get features in so many well-known newspapers and media outlets?
Yes, here we decided to engage some agencies, because PR is strongly networking driven. So you need to have a good local network with local press, local journalists. You need to hear the grass growing. Where is a nice story evolving around sleep, and you need to have somebody that is really slotting in and making the connections. And here we worked with agencies in the US, in the UK. In the other markets, we do it ourselves.
Okay, and the story, I guess, there is really way more about the sleep and why sleep is so important, instead of pitching your product. So it's much more the expert or the experience, the knowledge share, instead of just purely pitching your product, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a constant pitching and a constant variation of the pitches that is needed. Obviously, PR. I mean, once you're out with your story and you explain the products, you're done. But
right.
This is not enough, because you need to constantly have the story out. And so you need to think about, or have an agency in that case to think about new stories, new angles they can pitch. Yeah. And obviously for us, we constantly develop stories. I mean, we work with some athletes. So, for example, we now the provider of sleepwear for Swiss national ice hockey, for the teams that went to the Olympics, for the men and for the women. So these are great PR relevant stories, and we have testimonials from the coach, from the trainer. This helps to generate good momentum. And we have new products, we have new launches, we have new features, and so we have a constant flow of stories that is powering into the market. Not everything is picked up by the press, but some are. Often it's quite a random pattern. But if you really have a strategic approach, you get a lot out of it.
So in that regard, PR is not something that you just do at the beginning to launch a new market. It's really a constant activity that you follow through.
Absolutely. And it's also one of the keys for SEO rankings, because
right.
through good PR you get valuable backlinks. The backlinks again help you to generate PR, to help generate momentum. You get good incremental searches where you don't have to pay for.
Exactly. Then the second point you mentioned is the physical distribution with local partnerships, with local shops. How do you identify them, and how difficult is it to convince them to list and show your product?
It's getting easier and easier. Obviously, at the beginning, nobody knows you, nobody knows the concept. But now there's not a single day where we don't get contacted by potential distribution partners who say, "Hey, I've seen your products, I like your concept. I've heard of somebody that has been using your products." And they're reaching out to us and say, hey, can we stock your products? So it's now really shifting. That has not been like that all the time. So it's now really on us to be selective, because you also don't want to work with everybody. It's complicated and cumbersome sometimes. So we really want to have a strategic approach when we work with partners.
And how do you evaluate if it's worth to collaborate with a store or not?
In the end, it's an alignment on many things. It's an alignment on the brand, on the philosophy, on the products, on the customer audiences. For us, it's always a question: can we reach out incremental customer segments which we can not through our other channels, and then it's interesting for us. For us, it's also important. I mean, we are a premium brand. The product costs 200 francs, so we need to have somebody that has this kind of audience in the store.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, it will be a complete mismatch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then the third point you mentioned is, of course, the performance marketing part. So you do that here from Switzerland. And I wonder, I can imagine that you cannot use the same ads here in Switzerland as you can use in the US. So you probably also have to adapt for the local markets. How do you exactly do that?
I mean, point one is the language capability, and we decided to do German and English languages as two full verticals, because the language in itself is complex. It's not just we need to have the website in English. It's everything. You need to have, I mean, dynamically make it the updates, have the performance marketing, have the campaigns, have the PR, have the customer service in the language, and also in German. This is also, for example, the reason why we have stayed away from other languages. I mean, we also wanted to be in Sweden. I mean, we have a Swedish brand name, but Sweden has never been an attractive market. Also, never been big enough to merit a Swediization of the website, if you want.
So yeah, that's another layer of complexity that you can add there
Yes.
with the languages of the local markets.
Yes, and we master 2 languages, and this is good enough for us. We also, I mean, the team is very international. I mean, we have now 20 people, 15 nationalities. So English is really the corporate language, and we can also with that understand and play through the nuances. I mean, we have now a lady from the US that is kind of doing the US performance marketing. We have somebody from the UK as well. So it's really, the subtleties really matter.
Yeah, and that really is important to have the local market connections to then also make the right ads.
Absolutely. Just a fun anecdote.
Sure.
I mean, as coming from Switzerland, and having a scientific background in the products, we always come with numbers and facts and figures. Yeah. So when we explain to our PR guy in the US what we're doing, he listened to us and said, "Andreas, you're doing the world's most comfortable pajamas, right?" This is something we would never have dared to say that. But in the US, it's very clear. You need to be bold and unafraid, and you need to stand for that. And so you really need to adjust this to the language, to the culture, and this is sometimes difficult if you're not really local.
Yeah, I think that's a great anecdote that you just shared there, and I can also imagine here in Switzerland it's probably easier to convince people with statistics and really like studies, while in the US I'm not the expert, but I could imagine it's way more about the story and the story and the feeling that you can share with people there.
Yeah,
amazing. And one other part that I was also wondering about, what channel is actually working best for you these days on performance marketing? Is it still like Instagram, or do you also experiment with new channels that drive the most traffic to your page?
I mean, it's a constant evolution and a constant shift in the channels. I mean, Facebook, Insta is still the biggest one for us, but Pinterest is becoming increasingly important. LinkedIn is important. We have now started with TikTok, which is a nice acquisition target. You're seen. You can reach out to the younger audiences, and so again, the channels are constantly evolving. What worked 12 months ago does not work today any longer. So we really need to adapt and adjust.
Great. And where do you actually get the most traffic from? Is it the US, or is it another market that out of your 5 core markets?
Switzerland is on sales still the largest market. On traffic, it's now Switzerland, Germany, and the US. They are more or less equal.
And do you plan to shift that more towards the US, or what's your goal there?
Absolutely. I mean, we just recently looked at the addressable markets, and the addressable market defined by demographics and income. And there you see it. I mean, the US is by far the largest market for our products. And so definitely this is a market we can scale and we won't scale.
Great. So let's talk about the future then. As you mentioned, you've already been featured in numerous well-known media companies like The Guardian, CNN, Forbes, Wired, and many others. So of course, now we all ask ourselves, what's going to be next for Dagsmejan? What's going to be next for you? What do you have planned for the next months?
I mean, we are we see great growth opportunities for our brand going forward, and in all dimensions. I mean, we can go into into different markets. We just got the first request from a Chinese partner recently, so this is now something we start to explore. Would not have been on our agenda, but sometimes you also need to be quite opportunistic. So the whole Asian market, Japan is a great opportunity for us. On the products, as talked earlier, we have some great ideas on new products we're going to add. I cannot talk about everything because we have some really nice things we're going to launch in the next couple of months. Customer segments, I mean, we launched a maternity range, a baby range recently. Again, we go really from, let's say, the core 35 to 55. We now venture out. We make solutions for younger people, for older people. So really on the customer segments, we can drive a lot of momentum. Channels, last year we started with our first pop-up store. It was a great success. This is also a model we definitely going to scale up. Omnichannel is a big word, but we really see the potential for us coming from the digital side, really go into the physical stores.
Fantastic. And I also wonder now, with all that you have in the pipeline, if tomorrow a company comes around the corner and wants to acquire Dagsmejan, what would you do?
I mean, it's always good to talk, but I mean, we're not here to sell the company at the moment. I mean, we took some investors on board, so this is always an option when you do that. But I mean, as long as we are in hyper growth mode, we believe we are the best owners for the job, and everybody else believes we're the best owner for the job, we're going to continue.
So you're open for conversations, but it's not on your roadmap yet.
It's not on our roadmap at the moment, no.
So to end this conversation, we have two last parts that we would like to ask you more about. The first one is resources and gadgets recommendations. So are there any books or podcast blogs that you can recommend to our listener, except, of course, the Dagsmejan?
Everything is on our website. Read our blogs and you know everything about sleep. Now, there are a couple of things I would recommend. I mean, there's one book from Matthew Walker, Why We Sleep, is basically the best book on sleep in my view. Well, one that you can understand. I mean, every new employee that joins our company is getting this book on the table, because this is why we sleep. This is where it all comes together.
Yeah, wonderful.
So this is a good thing. I think that also, I mean, you're wearing an Oura ring to measure your sleep. I mean, this is a great way to get a grip on your sleep pattern, understand why you sleep well, why you not sleep well. There's a lot you can learn through gadgets like that.
So it's all sleep focused. I like that.
Absolutely.
Shows the importance.
Absolutely.
So for the very last part, we prepared some rapid fire question for you. So I either give you different options to choose from or a short question, and you have to answer in one sentence. You ready?
Good.
Side sleeper, belly sleeper, or back sleeper?
I used to be a belly sleeper, but now I retrain myself to be a side sleeper.
Hard mattress or soft mattress?
Very hard mattress.
Okay. How much sleep is the perfect amount of sleep for you?
It's 7.5 hours plus minus 5 minutes.
Nice. How many hours of sleep did you get last night?
I got 6 hours and 35.
Okay. What do you do during the last half hour of your waking day?
Well, I try to really wind down the last half hour, do some yoga, read a book, do not a lot. So this is what I try to do, at least.
And really staying away from the screen.
Absolutely. That's the key.
What is your favorite item of your own, product lines?
I like them all. No, actually, I'm a big fan of the merino line. I love merino. It's such a nice fabric. It's such a nice product. Also the sourcing, where we source this from. I mean, I know the people on the sheep farm in Uruguay. Very nice people. I just love this product.
Yeah, there's also the emotional story behind it. So great one. Andreas, these were all my questions for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and all the best of luck and success for the future.
Pleasure. Huh? Thanks a lot.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, you can support us by rating our show on Apple Podcasts. This way, we can reach an ever-growing number of aspiring entrepreneurs.